Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Wrestlemania review show. I'm Matt. He's John. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner our Twitter handle, MJ Make a Podcast. Obviously, you are watching on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Before we get into all of this, night 2, WrestleMania is over. WrestleMania weekend is come and gone. Overall, if you look at both shows combined, John, what did you think of this WrestleMania as a whole?
Honestly, for the most part, a lot of fun.
Yep.
That was the very consistent thing to say. I think that clearly night one, I felt was a like better show. From start until finish. But I felt like all of the most pig stuff really was pretty good.
Yep.
But
Good.
what do you think?
I thought as a whole show, first off, 2 nights I think is fine.
Yep.
I think it's perfect, easy to digest.
Fair.
3 or so hours of wrestling instead of making it 6 or 7 if you combine tonight and yesterday. So that was good. I would, on a grading, as an overall grade, I think maybe B minus. I think just an overall plus fans being there, obviously that's the big thing, just gave everything just a way better atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, hell, even though there was only 25,000 there, I mean that's still a huge difference.
You got reactions.
Yeah, and man, there was some, and like based on the crowd reactions, a lot of them were pretty much what I expected. There were a few surprises. Like I'm honestly surprised that as far as like Roman was concerned, I thought he would be getting more positive cheers. To be honest,
it's funny that now that he's a heel, he's getting actually booed legit. I think that also as the fact Edge was in the match.
Yeah. Oh, and everyone was on really wanted Edge to like win for sure. And I think it was also more telling and pretty shocking that Daniel, he was getting a largely a negative response, which honestly kind of surprised me.
Except when he did the yes chance.
That was like literally the only time there.
And like we said, it's the Edge effect.
Absolutely.
Everybody was glad to see Edge back and wanted him to win the championship, but we'll get into that more later. We're going to start from night 1, work our way to tonight.
So
excuse me.
Yeah. So like, you know, first of all, night 1, unfortunately, we had some issues with Mother Nature. There was like
Mother Nature's like, no.
Yeah, there was like about a 30 or 40 minute weather delay there. But it eventually got started there, and man, you could tell how crazy things were because WWE was just scrambling just to try and fill as much time as possible. Like they called on people such as like Shane and MVP and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens just to basically talk, and Kevin Owens and Seth really stood out there. I felt
they did a good job,
right? So they did pretty good there. But eventually we got the show started with the WWE Championship, which is pretty much what I thought that they were going to be starting the show with between Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. And like Drew, he got I a lot of like cheers, but I did hear some boos there. It was very like faint, but
I think
I
you're
did
always going to get
right.
that at a Mania crowd.
But we open up with that, and Bobby Lashley, to my surprise, retains his WWE Championship in a very good, very exciting
opener
opener
Yeah.
there. Probably the best that I could have expected, to be honest, because I wasn't entirely sure how good these guys were going to actually work with each other here. But man, this was I felt this was I felt like very good, and it was a sign of things to like come on the show. But
Well,
any thoughts here
I'm
on that
glad
match?
they went with Lashley because he's been doing some good stuff here as of late. He's been overall booked very strong. He looks like $1 million. Him and MVP are one of the few consistent bright spots on Monday nights.
Right.
They're doing just some good stuff together. In a way, I was wanting Lashley to have more of a run with the title. I didn't want it to be a basically one and done for now and give Drew his moment. I mean, Drew has been it was a good champion and had a long run with it, but I think Lashley deserves this moment too, and to have a decent sized run with the championship. So it's good for him. We had just if you're just talking about the African American presence, especially on night one,
on
Lashley winning
both nights too.
both nights, yeah. And then Bianca and Sasha tearing the house down at the end and the main event.
It like gone are the days of them like just like not pushing anyone there.
It seems like now it doesn't matter.
Like and like North showed it, but right. a very good opener, and then we go on to which I felt was the like worst thing on the show, which was the like tag team turmoil to determine who will be facing Nia and Shayna on like night 2. Matt, this was a freaking mess from start until finish. Just
it was the cold down match,
but
obviously, it wasn't
just
I'll say the good thing about this, the bright spot. I like the Riot Squad got a nice little shine here. They looked good. The crowd was behind them. The crowd, even with Tamina, I think the crowd, there's a theme for this weekend. The crowd was really behind Tamina and kind of wanted her to have her moment. I noticed through this weekend, but the Riot Squad got their moment. Well, a
should have won.
In
my opinion, because to me, like
heel versus heel,
it makes like zero sense there. But that's what they went with. And another thing from this match was freaking Mandy slipping on the entranceway. Was
that was funny. And then Randy Orton mocked it today.
Yeah, that was pretty
fun. I liked. I don't know. I'm always a fan of Billie Kay, like trying to be like that model and trying to be Carmella. I just Billie Kay. I don't know. I like her little shtick she has going on. Who else was in the match? Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Apparently, Dana Brooke had a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, Carmella and Billy Kay, who they got eliminated by the Riot Squad. Riot Squad versus like Mandy and Dana, which you like Riot Squad eliminated, and then in the final Riot Squad versus Tamina and like Natty, and as like we know, Natty and Tamina won.
I think that was my. I was going to pick them, but I was like heel versus heel, so it's a heel. So I think I went with. Did I go with Lana and Naomi?
I think
because you went with Riot Squad.
Yeah.
But just I should have just strictly went Natalia and Tamina because just how they've been booked on SmackDown.
Right.
But they were my number 2, whatever. So, but it was what it was. Yeah. So this was the only like blemish.
Yeah, like this was
night
the
one.
only bad thing on like night one.
Yeah.
And then we go into Seth Rollins versus Cesario. As Seth called him when the show started. This was great. Seth, as much shit as I give him, man, I cannot question this man as a like worker. Him and Cesaro just tore it up. They got about like 13 minutes and they tore it up. This was definitely one of like the best matches of like WrestleMania.
I think
weekend.
Sneakily stole.
Yeah,
you can say stole WrestleMania both nights.
Absolutely did. Absolutely.
That if somebody came up to or said Seth Rollins and Cesaro was my favorite match of the weekend, I would not bat an eye.
Yeah. And this really put over Cesaro. And to me, Matt, he should absolutely be in line for a title shot against like Roman.
Even if he doesn't win, I don't expect
like hell. Put like for one of these smaller pay-per-views, he's a perfect guy.
I wouldn't mind a little mini feud.
It would be perfect until you eventually get into SummerSlam. This is to me exactly what you would want here. And man, and I marked out when he did the like freaking like UFO there. That was great.
That's impressive.
And also to him countering Seth's curb stomp. That was great.
Beautiful. That was probably second to Orton at 31.
Yep, absolutely. Just and I tell you, that freaking crowd went absolutely freaking nuts. So that was a great match. And then we lead into like New Day versus AJ Styles and almost
who was over with the crowd.
Yeah, he was super over. For the Raw Tag Team Championships, this was surprisingly pretty good here.
It was
like I'm honestly like I was expecting this to be a lot worse, and man, and it was kind of unique too. They had Xavier and Kofi basically working as like heels here, which I feel, Matt, this really worked here. So this ended up being where AJ and almost are your new Raw Tag Team Champions.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're saying champion. I'm kind of glad AJ Styles and Omos won. I don't think you would have Omos lose his first match. Omos, whatever. They didn't really, whatever. Potato. Wasn't really shown too much or overexposed in this match.
No.
Did power stuff, dominated New Day and got the win.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's new tag teams. As much as like New Day, like something different.
they still don't have any
They don't.
other tag teams, and
It's going to be
like
if you do any Mania rematch on Raw, which I hope they don't, I think this is going to be one.
Yeah. And to me, like I'm hoping that they're going to be keeping Shelton and Cedric as a like team there. I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm hoping soon Hanson will be coming back soon of the like Viking Raiders. They desperately need tag teams, and it's the same on SmackDown too. Just everything's just so stale right now.
But in the bubble, SmackDown's doing a way better job.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just
they actually have more than one tag team kind of like built,
and especially when
invested in,
right, and especially
it's not the best, but it's something.
But when you compare it to shows such as NXT and
anybody else,
and pretty much anyone else, like it's just very lazy, and that really needs to freaking change.
I honestly, God, I'm trying to think. Besides New Day, Styles, and Omos, I don't know what another tag team is. Honest to God, and I don't think that's my mind playing.
I think that's it, Matt. I don't think there's any.
I can't think of any.
Right, and that is a problem. All right, then we go to the steel cage match for stupid Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon, which we saw Braun Strowman defeat Shane after Shane died. Yeah. Basically,
pretty much. I thought this was a build and story aside. I thought this was a good steel cage match.
Yeah,
I think they did good job. I love the spot.
This was as good as
it did.
You could have hoped for.
It did its job as well as it could. I like the spot when Shane was climbing down and mocking Braun, and he gets up, holds his hand, pulls his hand through the cage, and basically tears the cage open and throws him in. I thought that was unique. I like that. And then the push and the flip.
And for as bad as they have portrayed Braun, he got a huge reaction when he came out there,
which I was surprised about that.
Yeah,
out of you were talking about Reigns, and I thought Braun.
I thought he was
surprised the hell out of me because
he got a great reaction there, which you got to think he's going to be getting a title shot soon against like Lashley. Just basically looking at everything, he seems to be probably one of the guys.
If you transplant Lashley to like 2 years ago, Braun all day, I still would like to see it, but
it's just
if you had Braun as hot as he was against Lashley, that would be some good shape review. Good, yes.
Yeah, and then we go to Bad Punny and Damian Priest versus Miz and John Morrison. Holy crap, this far exceeded anyone's expectations. Like we have been hearing for this whole entire thing, Matt, of how hard that like Bad Punny has been working, and he's been impressing everyone as far as training was concerned. And man, I'm just shocked at how much he did here. Yep. Like I did not think that he would be selling as much as he did, and just doing as much things as he did. And on top of that, he did not look tired or anything. Like he took this thing seriously. And
that's what people were saying. When he's training, he was taking it seriously.
Took it seriously. Yep. And when he did a Canadian destroyer, I'm like, what the hell, man? And it just a fun tag match. And hell, even Damian, he looked good when he had to be. So
good crowd reaction when he came in.
and on top of that, Bad Bunny's entrance, that was cool.
Oh yeah, with the truck,
that was cool.
semi,
and he got a huge reaction too. Like, I think there probably might have been two other guys who probably had a reaction, and like I'm talking of like Edge.
I say Edge, and I was I would say I was if you weren't thinking this,
Bianca.
No, I was thinking Drew originally,
Drew.
first entrance on
Mhm.
Mania.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, you can add her too.
Yeah, I mean that was just that just could not have asked for a better match. So obviously,
Did its job. Yep.
Damien and Bad Bunny win. Like it just anything else to add there?
No, good for Morrison and Bad Bunny to go back to the Canadian Destroyer.
Yep.
For probably a good choice of Morrison doing that. He probably
absolutely
coached him, and Morrison to trust Bad Bunny, because obviously at the first match, if I went to go for a Canadian Destroyer, I would kill me and or the person I'm fighting. So I mean, and it looked good. I mean, really can't say much more about this. Did its job. Good celebrity spot. And then Triple H, they little promo today of sending him off on his tour. So it's a good way. And on the truck, good way to send him off. He came in, he did the job well, and yeah.
And hell, I would not mind seeing him again here.
He won me over.
I would not mind seeing him again.
Now we just see what Damian Priest does going forward.
Yeah, and I could see him versus Sheamus, which please and thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Please and thank you. So then we lead to night one's main event for the SmackDown Women's Championship between Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. And goddamn, this lived up to like my hopes. But I will say though, this build was still absolute shit. It was lazy. Everything about that is absolutely true. However, these girls just tore it down, and you could just feel the emotion here, Matt. Like
especially in the beginning.
Yeah, like you saw like both of them crying there. That was awesome.
Bianca was crying, and Sasha tried her damnedest not to break character. You tried. She smiled a little bit, and then she kind of like held it back.
Right.
Definitely after the match, there's video of Sasha kind of off camera smiling and proud, which is awesome.
But yeah, so
because we did have Ronda and Becky and Charlotte at 35,
and to me this
36, 35.
I'm like 35,
35,
and to
the main event, that was the first one. But
this was, in my opinion, far better. It just
well, plus this was two African American women,
and that between that and two
main eventing, I think just a show in general.
Well, and on top of that, the crowd wasn't completely, comatose.
Well,
they were for 35,
7 hours later,
right? So, but that being said, like the crowd was just eating this up, and man, that tail whip, man. Oh, like I have watched that over so many times now, and man, that sounds worse.
I think that was worse than Walter's chop.
Jesus Christ,
the sound like that was a whip,
like that, and you just see this huge gash.
I missed it until after. I was like,
that was just brutal. But man, what a great sight though. Seeing her winning, and seeing also to her like family, they were there, and they were just jumping for freaking joy.
Thought they were going to jump the barricade,
right? Yeah, like her dad was just going insane there. So that was just awesome.
Another spot was Sasha Banks diving crossbody through the ropes.
Mhm.
Bianca caught her, rolled, and picked her up, pressed her up.
That was great.
Through a good visual.
Like they really put over how strong and how
she did
athletic she is.
The either like the power slam too.
Right.
They did that. Yeah, they made her look strong, and so just kudos.
Mhm.
Bianca wins. Awesome.
Yep.
And
man, like
good way to end the night.
And man, like I tell you, night one, I was on a freaking high after that. Like this was the most fun I have had watching a like Mania in a very very long time. So I was like really feeling it after that, and like I told you about how excited I was. I can't say enough at how much fun night one.
Yeah, and I watched it like this morning. I started pretty much at, so it was up really early, like 8:30, pretty much when it really started.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it through. Yeah, and just that was a good decision. Like just to watch it. It was nothing really bad. It was just it was an overall entertaining show.
Yep. And then we go into night two. And we begin. God damn it. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck are the words that I come away from this match? And I'll let like Matt get into the actual into the actual finish here, but yes. I will say this: entrances, great.
Yep.
That whole presentation, awesome. This whole build, shit. So I'm like, okay, can they at least put on a good match to where I'm not going to freaking hate myself?
I still didn't mind parts of the build. Taking it for what it is, but when you accept the Fiend for what he is, then it's okay at parts. Anyways, that's a different topic for a past day. The match itself until the end, I didn't think was bad.
It was fine.
It was fine up to the point. It was totally fine. It was acceptable. I could get past the red light because I can still see because I'm not there.
Yeah.
So it was up to the fine, and then I thought Alexa Bliss is noticeably absent. I did think of that at one point. Then, and I did notice there was the pyro cans on the ring post. I was like, okay, there's going to be some
funny business.
There's going to be some pyros as well as expected. And then, so to go through to make the point later, Orton hit that DDT.
Mm-hmm.
I forget off the rope. I forget the names.
Yeah.
So forgive me.
No.
Like 2-3, I think 3 times, right?
Yep.
And Fiend would get up as expected. And other moves too. Got up.
His all of his signature shit.
Yeah, got up. So he's about to hit Sister Abigail, and I'm like, okay, here goes the finish. He's going to win. Okay, gets the win. We can move on.
Yeah.
And then the pyro goes off. I was like, okay, no. And then Alexa Bliss pops up from inside the
Jack in the box.
No, the box-like structure.
Cole.
That's Vince down here. It's not a jack in the box.
That's a box.
It's a structure.
It's a like fucking box.
She said anyway. That's the least of the worries. Yeah. She comes up, looking like she just tried to change oil for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the black blood.
Yeah,
but okay, that's not the problem to me. Okay, cool visual, right?
Yeah.
The crowd was chanting, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So that part was over. So, but that was distracted the Fiend enough that Orton hits the RKO and wins.
And just to
So we buried the Hell in a Cell match.
just to give you guys some like background here. Seth Rollins hit 9 curb stomps on this man, and he kicked out of every single one of them.
And he put with wrenches and he
everything.
And the match had to stopped because of like death. It wasn't a finish. And you tell me one RKO can finish it. I expected him to kick out.
Yeah. I think everyone did. I think everyone did, and
that made no sense.
Like, and then we see basically the whole Iran just goes completely dark.
They did the light things with him, and the lights come on and wide out, and
that was it.
To be careful because if anybody saw anything, and they were gone.
I was like,
and the crowd was like, started to boo.
Yeah, like I just whoever thought of that was just horrible. Like, and I'm like, man, this is not getting off to a very good start.
I was like, okay, you know what? We'll move on, and that would be the blemish.
And then we had the women's tag team championships between Nia and Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Tamina.
I'll say this because you didn't watch.
Essentially,
the match itself wasn't bad.
Just there's
Tamina was over,
somehow.
but you somehow. I think everybody wanted her moment and proud that she's getting like pushed.
Yeah.
Heel versus heel after that opening match does not work. Did not work.
It will never work.
It would never work. And what you said. Really lack of significant story. The only time the crowd was into it was when Tamina was Tamina. She was the most over in that match, and no Reggie.
Yeah,
which helped.
I was kind of surprised that he wasn't out there.
I wouldn't even mind if he was out. If he didn't, I didn't even mind. But heel versus heel didn't work. I think if the Riot Squad got this chance, even if they lost, I think would have been better.
Well, yeah, and I feel like all of us would have been at least a little bit interested in this. Whereas this, I have no reason to give a single crap about this match. It's just that simple.
I got the I call it the Natalya effect. That when Natalya is
anywhere,
it's not her fault. I'm not dissing her as a performer because who am I? It's just when I see Natalya on my screen, I'm like, I'm done. No, I'm done.
She's like Ziggler, man. She's like Ziggler. Is like anytime he's involved, you're just immediately are going to be tuning it out. So.
Yeah.
So this ended up with Shayna and like Nia retain here.
I don't know who the hell beat them.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So now I was like, okay, can we get the show started? And then we got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I was like, thank God. This was exactly what this show freaking needed. We got back on the like freaking tracks.
Like I was going to do the Matt Foley. Get back on the right track.
And that's exactly what happened here. These guys put on a pretty good match. Like pretty much what I expected. Kevin Owens, he wins here as expected. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Stunner. Yeah, Logan Paul comes in and tries to congratulate Owens. And Sammy's like, what the hell?
And the crowd hated Logan Paul.
Everybody does. And
then
Kevin Owens hits, I think, another stunner on Sammy, I think, or he walks out. He walks out. I'm sorry. And then Logan Paul goes to lift. He's celebrating with Owens lifting his hand. We all know what's coming. And the look on Owens' face, like, you just touched me. and he goes in kind of for like a hug, fake hug, stuns him. Logan Paul, to his credit, sold the hell of that stunner.
Sure did.
Because you saw, he kind of was like, oh no, it wasn't going to get a good grip on his head, or it was going to look off. But he saved it.
He saved it. Yeah,
it looked good. So to Logan Paul, good job for what he did. He sat outside. He really didn't get into the match. He didn't interfere in the match, which that's always a worry. But they had a good match for what it was between those two, given the time. And Logan Paul did his good job selling, and the crowd popped for it. And Owens won, so a good segment, good entertaining segment that would have needed to do.
So what's next for Owens? Do you do maybe him versus Apollo next, or do you what? Because I really don't know what to really do with him. Right. Yeah, that they really need to figure out, because to me,
it's a good problem to have, because you got Big E. You still have Big E with Apollo, possibly.
And I think eventually they're going to be doing Big E versus Reigns. I think that's eventually happening.
I think that's there's your SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's probably what is happening next for him. But a very
we'll get more into that.
Now we have the like United States Championship between Matt Riddle versus Sheamus.
This was good too.
Yep.
This was a little sneak of a match. That
these guys just beat the crap
up until you could say up until to this point was match of the night. Up to this point, because you had Owens and Zayn. I had a little bit more expectations for Owens and Zayn, but it didn't like destroy expectations. No. But Riddle and Sheamus was as physical, like the Raw matches. The end with the bro kick,
and just like Riddle he got busted up there too, like good. That looked good there. So
Sheamus is the new US champ,
which I felt that was gonna happen. I feel like he will be a pretty good champion here. There's to me a lot of good possible feuds. One of like which I said him versus Damian. Like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Like that could be some pretty
I think I did pick Riddle because Sheamus's track record in the past was almost like that, the fill-in.
Yeah.
But you know what? Good for Sheamus. I'm not mad. At least this was a good, hard, physical match.
No.
There's some good spots. Very good. Yeah.
All right. And so then we lead into the Intercontinental Championship between Big E versus Apollo Crews. I'll say this, and I know we're going to disagree here. As much as I understand what they did, as far as the actual finish here, it kind of took away from the match for me. I just wish that they didn't end this like that, because to me they were going really well here. And just to end it like that, you're just like left like feeling, you know.
Yeah, I see your point, but I don't know. I liked it. Big E didn't lose clean per se.
No.
He needed Apollo needed the cheat to win. He's got his heater and the new repackaged Dabocado, which just based on first looks good. Taller than him. He's got his heater. Apollo does. He's
a version of like of him almost on SmackDown there.
Yeah, they trademarked was Commander Azizi or something. Azuzu, Abadaba Dabadoo, whatever his name is. So I'll give it a chance. Because if Paulo pins Big E clean, good for Paulo, but then it looks bad on Big E.
That would have been dumb.
But the heel doing the heel thing of he had to cheat to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm fine with it. See where they go. I know everybody wants the clean finish, but we got a new somebody up, a new superstar that hopefully eventually gets a rub down the line, and then Paulo can do his hilly stuff, and then that's good. I don't know. I was okay with it. I liked the match. I was okay with the ending.
I personally did not care for that ending. It kind of like ruined it for me. I just wish that they could have like done something different there. I'm not sure exactly what they could have done, but just wasn't a fan of that. But all right, so moving on to the Raw Women's Championship match between Asuka versus like Rhea Ripley and Matt. Holy God, that entrance of like Rhea's, that was rough.
Scream music does not work live. I'm sorry, that's not the no
came off. But
when she was like singing, it's like this. It's the scream, bum 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 bum. That part's fine, and it's when like
yeah,
it's no.
It just
I didn't know Shotzi can sing. No, it looked like Shotzi Blackheart.
It looked exactly like
but I think condolences to Shotzi, by the way.
Yeah,
her father passed away, and Matt Hardy, Hardy brothers, father's passed around like within the last 24, 48 hours. So condolences there. But yeah, not the best entrance per se.
No,
I would love to know how that sounded like actually live there. Probably worse.
Yeah, I would imagine. But for the actual match itself, I did feel like that they were moving a little bit too slow at times. Like I kind of wish that it was more similar to what like Sasha and like Bianca was as far as like pacing was concerned. Felt like that they were just like moving really just slowly, and honestly I was kind of poured for a good portion.
I'm never upset because you don't want him to go all crazy. I like to slowly build. I think we want too much too quick sometimes.
I mean, like, there's a difference between that and just like going so slow that you are also putting your audience to sleep.
I don't think it was this situation, in my opinion.
But to my surprise, Rhea, I'm like she wins.
I called it.
I
told you.
Shocked.
I don't know why you're. I'm not sure why you were surprised.
Shocked. Because this was just thrown together so quickly that I didn't think that they were going to actually pull the trigger.
And here. I didn't think they were going to make Rhea lose twice in a row.
So yeah, we both have both like Rhea and Bianca Belair as like new champions, which is exactly what both like Raw and SmackDown needs. It's just a fresh start, a clean slate, so to speak. Like I do wonder though, as far as feuds are concerned, I mean, like, what do you do with Rhea? Like, I would assume she's probably is going to be facing Asuka for the short term, but
Backlash.
Yeah, but obviously too Charlotte, and I gotta think for SummerSlam, Rhea versus Becky is probably there too. And as far as on SmackDown, I have no idea what they're gonna be doing with Bianca there. I mean, the only other feud I could probably see is her versus Bayley, since they just had that like one match there, so I could see that. But I also think too we're going to be seeing some call ups possibly, and we also have like Chelsea Green, who's now cleared. I mean, would like to see her involved or something. Like they need something fresh, man. Just feels like we're just constantly recycling the same the like same people here, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see. It's this week is going to be see what the quote unquote reset button happens. See what they get.
Raw is probably going to be Raw, and I tell you, I am not ready for these shows to go back to the like freaking Thunderdome again. It's especially after Saturday and tonight. Just was so nice just to see people back, and
but
it's gonna suck.
Hence, COVID.
Yep, it's
but all that stuff. But here we go.
Ooh. All right, and now to the main event of night 2 for the WWE Universal Championship: Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. This was great. It even exceeded my expectations here. The crowd was just electric here, Matt. Just as we kind of said on from the start, I was surprised that at how much that like Daniel was getting booed, and I was also saying same thing for like Roman, but as like you said, Edge was supremely over as a babyface, which like makes me think, even if they didn't turn him heel, he would have been super hot as a babyface, and that just kind of reconfirmed that for me. And I thought he was going to actually win, but then we saw Daniel pull the like his legs or the like ref's legs. I forget what, but man, but this eventually ends with our tribal chief standing tall and retaining his title, which thank God they did not do any sort of like funny shit here. Just have him win and just have him just continuing his like title reign here. I said it again, he should not be losing that title anytime soon. And even for someone with Piggy, I think he still needs a like few more months until I can
SummerSlam,
right, where I can say, okay, I'm perfectly fine with him going over as champion, but now I would say just continue on with him as champ.
And I'm not calling Edge a part-timer, but more in the past per se. They kept with your current guys, but for lack of a better term, there was no part-timers on the show, so this was the first time in a long time.
I would imagine they're probably arguably doing him versus Daniel in the short term.
Yeah,
if he's going to be sticking around, that is
well, isn't he full-time ish?
No, he's more he's not completely full-time, but then again, with them just only doing strictly TV now, and I mean, if
he doesn't have to wrestle every
right
week.
So I mean, I'd be perfectly fine with that. And him versus Daniel, I mean, those are gonna be some pretty fun matches there. So overall, I would say, Matt, this was a pretty fun WrestleMania.
If you combine it together, yeah.
Some
no really questionable why'd you do this results.
Except for the Fiend.
Okay. That was the question. But sometimes you get like multiple ones, but Lance Storm had a tweet here, and it's very interesting here.
What do you say?
WWE champ Hill, Universal champ Hill, IC champ Hill, US champ Hill, Raw tag team and SmackDown tag team, women tag team champs Hill, Raw women's champ Hill. Technically, Rhea was acting more Hill today, and then she kind of turned on Asuka, but she'd probably be face. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I would classify her.
I was iffy, and then SmackDown women's champ face, and somebody added NXT champ heel technically.
Yeah.
NXT Women's Champ, heel. North America Champ, heel. UK Champ, heel. UK Champ, Walter, he is.
Yeah, but like he's a heel.
Yeah, he's technically a heel. So there's gonna be a lot of the chases.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing that a lot, and I do think some of those titles are gonna be changing hands over onto baby faces here soon. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with some guys, because as I look at some guys such as like Drew, I wonder what they're going to do with him, because like it seems like he's pretty directionalist right now. So I'm interested to see what they have planned for some of these guys as we go into through April into May. But yeah, guys, that's going to pretty much do it here for the podcast. We thank you for tuning in. We are going to be back with our weekly podcast. We just decided to basically take off a week because of just everything going on with WrestleMania week. So yeah, make sure you tune into that. I'm not sure when we're going to be doing our wrestling podcast just yet. We will keep you updated on that there. But as like always, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. We are always on there tweeting, whether it is professional wrestling or MMA. So yeah, so guys, for Matt and for John, we hope you have a good night, and we shall see you next time.